What's up, guys? I'm EJ. This is Kendall here, and we're doing a really special video today. We're going to be breaking down two of the top prospects for the 2019 NBA Draft, two backcourt guys, RJ Barrett from Duke and Ja Morant from Murray State. Now, we've been doing these draft prospect comparison videos every year. So the first one we did was Markelle Fultz versus Lonzo Ball. We did, of course, Luka and Trae Young. And this year, we're doing the first one at the very least. We're doing Morant versus Barrett, two very different prospects.
Right. You know, it's obviously Zion Williamson is right now the consensus #1 guy, but the battle right now is who's going to go #2, and we have very differing opinions right now.
Sure.
Who will and who should go #2. I lean Ja Morant. You lean RJ Barrett.
Why don't you make the case for Ja Morant? Because a lot of people may not be as familiar with this kid from Murray State.
Yeah, Ja Morant is look, first of all, Ja Morant, dynamic player. Super athletic at the point guard position. Good size, around 6'3". The production is there. He's averaging, almost triple-double, in college basketball. He's putting up Trae Young-like numbers. He's basically college basketball's Russell Westbrook at this stage. The first thing you think when you see Ja Morant, obviously, is going to be he plays for Murray State. Competition's a little lower, and that's fair. I understand that, but I caution people to look at, and also you may think Murray State, you may think Campaign, who's also a lottery pick point guard. But I caution people to say, think about the point guards who've been drafted in the top 10, or the guards, or have been drafted in the lottery that came from small schools. Dame Lillard, CJ McCollum, obviously Steph Curry. Of course, for all those guys, you end up with an Alfred Payton. But, I mean, Alfred Payton's not a terrible player.
But you did mention Campaign, and let's just not say he's a great player.
Campaign, that fell through.
Shout out to Campaign, though.
Yeah, man. But what I love about Morant, and this takes nothing away from Barrett, but it's more about where we're going in the NBA. It's a guard-driven game, and I look at the teams that are going to be drafting in the top 10, or in the top 5, rather. And while normally I'd say a lot of teams have point guards, Atlanta has a point guard, but I'm not super high on Colin Sexton. Not sure if he's a true point guard.
In Cleveland.
Yeah, in Cleveland, yeah. I'm not sure if he's a true point guard. New York, no point guard. And Chicago, I'm not really super high on whatchamacallit, on Chris Dunn. And Phoenix has 0 point guard on the roster. So, unless you love DeAnthony Melton. So, that's where I think Ja Morant fits perfectly with any of those teams.
Look, Ja Morant is a very, very intriguing prospect. The kid is super athletic.
Ball on the string.
Yeah, I think he has one of the better handles I've seen from a college guard.
Best I've seen since Kyrie.
You could make that case. His handle is tight. He's a really good passer. I just feel like when we talk about his game, we do have to talk about some of the benefits of playing at a small school. Because we always talk about, he's got to do it all. It's like, well, I think that's kind of the point, and that kind of helps his case, is that we've seen him kind of do a lot. We see him rebound a lot. We see him try to get every single person involved. We see him shoot a lot. But because he doesn't really have to worry about really anyone else on his team getting in any kind of rhythm, it allows him to kind of just showcase his unbelievable talents. But with that, also, they're not the greatest team. I don't know if he can really run a team and playing close games and winning close games. We haven't seen that element of that floor general element to his game. And when we compare him to someone like RJ Barrett, who I know you love to pick apart his game. We've talked about him a lot. Not really on air, but off air. I get your concerns, but the guy is one of the most decorated prospects we've had coming in the draft in a long time. I feel like the detractors for RJ Barrett honestly kind of remind me of the Luka Doncic detractors. Because when we consider what RJ Barrett has not only done on the high school level, not only what he's done at the college level, which we pick apart his game. The guy is still averaging 22, 23 points a game. He's leading the team in scoring. He's been one of their best players, if not their best player still, and we're still picking apart his game. Then you got to look at what he's done internationally, because he's played for Team Canada, and he's been a star player for Team Canada for a long period of time. There are very few 18, 19-year-olds that have accomplished what RJ Barrett has done at the high school, collegiate, and international level. Yeah. Not to say that Ja Morant isn't great, but a guy who just bursts onto the scene out of nowhere, I'm going to have some pause and want to see how this continues before I'd say he should be drafted ahead of someone like R.J. Barrett, who's been #1 since he was like a sophomore in high school.
Yeah, what I love about Morant, one, he's a sophomore, and he was a good player as a freshman, but meteoric rise as a sophomore. Like, he's gotten tremendously better from last year. He was on my radar at the end of last year. I was like, oh, this is some guy you may have to pay attention to for this year. And I mean, no way I would have thought this guy. I watched him as a freshman. I was like, I don't see it. You know, I don't see like dynamic NBA point guard. But he's a way different player than he was.
Clearly he's improved on his game. And
obviously.
And that should be a reason why teams look at him so high, because you can see the guy has a great work ethic.
It comes from, a kid from South Carolina he had an offer from South Carolina but wasn't highly recruited, ends up going to Murray State, and then ends up going now seemingly in the top 5 in the NBA draft. Great story. The thing about R.J. Barrett for me is, look, obviously he's an inefficient scorer. Not a great shooter. Neither is Morant.
Morant's not a great shooter.
They shoot around the same percentage. But I worry more about a guy that doesn't have an elite skill, R.J. Barrett. He's great in transition. You know who else was great in transition? Andrew Wiggins, Josh Jackson,
Michael Kidd
Gilchrist. These guys that get their points. Justice Winslow. These guys. Stanley Johnson was great in transition. I love Stanley Johnson coming out. I worry about those guys that they're kind of bully forwards, in college they're supremely athletic. They have enough skills offensively to where their athleticism can shine, and they're aggressive players. All those guys besides Wiggins, who is even more athletic and more skilled than almost any of those other guys, and it's helped in the NBA, but it's limited its upside.
Sure.
I just worry, unless you have an elite translatable skill like Morant, who's an elite passer, an elite ball handler, and I would say an elite athlete for the point guard position. I don't know if R.J. Barrett has any of those things. What I do know is he likes to shoot way more than he likes to pass, which also may fit on a bad team like, the Knicks. But if he goes to any team where he's not right away a 20 shot a night type of player, can he be a role player?
But I think one of the things we talk about with Barrett, do I think that he sometimes has tunnel vision looking only at the rim? I agree. But I think we also got to consider, as crazy as this may sound, like college defenses, I think will have a harder time, having an easier time handling a guy like him than an NBA team would.
Right.
Because even though he's playing on a great team like Duke, still, even at their best, there are 3 NBA guys on the court.
Spacing.
Sometimes there's only 2 or 1 guy if Cam Reddish and Zion Williamson are out.
Yeah.
So you can key in on him. You can zone, which is in the NBA. There's legal defense. You can't have 3 seconds in the paint. It's a lot easier to load up on a guy like him. It's a lot easier to keep him in the half court. Those games are played mostly in the half court. Longer shot clock. It's not as wide open game. The 3-point line's not as extended. So I think R.J. Barrett's the kind of player where you'll see his offensive skill set flourish more in the NBA, because the one thing I like about him, you could say he's too aggressive, but that guy puts pressure on the defense. Never when you're guarding R.J. Barrett are you at a point where I can relax, because he's always looking for his shot. And the guy has a natural scoring knack. Now, again, does he shoot too much or maybe get tunnel vision? Sure. But there's no question the guy has the right scoring instincts. The guy knows when to get his shots. And I think that when we see those percentages in terms of his 3-point percentage, I think those percentages will go up as he continues to develop.
He seems to be a hard worker. He's worked with Drew Hanlon on his shot. It hasn't helped him that much so far, but he seems to be a hard worker. He seems to be a guy that certainly plays hard on the court.
Yeah,
he's the anti-Andrew Wiggins.
He gives 100% every time he's on the floor.
He's the anti-Andrew Wiggins. He plays extremely hard. So sometimes I think he's got to calm down, slow down, play the game the right way. I don't know if he does that right now. Right now, he kind of looks like a guy that tries to
get his numbers.
He's trying, because I don't like to psychoanalyze guys,
sure,
and say this is what he's thinking, this is what he's trying to do. But you can't lie, the pressure's been put on him by the way Zion's played.
Yeah,
because he came in as the top guy on that team, and he was the #1 recruit in the country. And now Zion Williamson's like the only story for Duke, and R.J. Barrett's kind of becoming the Robin, and that's never been his role in his life.
But we say
even when he's playing on Team Canada, like you said, he's playing with pros. He's the Batman.
But we say Robin, but he's still leading the team in scoring. He's still the guy that's taking the last shot.
But why?
He's still the alpha dog.
And that's the question. But why?
At the end of the day, he's still the most talented
guy. Because is he a better player? Is he the most talented guy?
Yes.
So you're trying to tell me R.J. Barrett's more talented than Zion Williams?
Yes.
He's not. He's not
Yes,
more
he
talented
is.
than Zion Williams.
Are you kidding
He's
me?
taking more shots.
No,
because
Zion Williamson,
Coach K lets him take more
is very
shots.
talented, but he's also an athletic freak.
Yes.
That's a big part of it. But
He's not more skilled. He's not more skilled.
Skill level, basketball
right.
talent.
That's not what you said. You said talent.
Basketball talent, I'm taking R.J. Barrett over
Sorry, so take
Zion.
number one then.
No.
Maybe we should do a Zion Williamson versus R.J. Barrett.
I'm not taking
I'd
R.J.
win that
Barrett
one
over,
all the time.
I'm not taking R.J. Barrett over Zion Williamson, the player. I'm just talking about the talent. The talent, he has better skill. He can shoot better. He's a better ball handler.
Fair enough.
He's a better passer. He does a lot of things better.
R.J. Barrett is not a better passer than
Zion Williamson?
He's not. Come on, man.
Zion Williamson.
R.J. Barrett, Mr. Drive left and look down and shoot the ball.
But you were talking about Zion. Zion Williamson does the same thing. He puts his head down.
No, Zion Williamson makes plays for his teammates. He makes the right pass. He's willing to kick it. Who's averaging more? Look, R.J. Barrett's probably averaging more assists, but his usage rate is probably also way higher than Zion Williamson is because he's a guard. And look, a lot of this I think falls to Coach K's coaching ability. I'm not saying he's a bad coach. But
I hope not. He's not a bad coach.
He's not a bad coach, but he's letting R.J. Barrett not run wild on his team, but he's letting him kind of do whatever he wants. Maybe in the NBA, he gets a coach that reins him in, tells him how to play the right way, and I like Barrett a little bit more. I feel like Morant, it really doesn't matter. The team, the coach, he's the guy that's going to translate from day one.